Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm the Gentleman and welcome to the Gentleman's Pixel Club. Farhan Yusuf. This one is for you. On a recent video you asked me if I could play Captain Beeble, and this is the video of Captain Beeble on the Atari 800 playing on the MiSTer FPGA system. I had not seen this game until I literally started playing it now. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to even start the damn game. The MiSTer FPGA recreates these old computers, these old consoles as a core, and I was thinking, the Atari 800, and I do the graphics afterwards here, must be a version of the Atari that I don't recall, that I've not seen before. It took me a long time to figure that you could not start this game using the fire button, you had to use start on the keyboard, which was defined as F6. And dear God, what the hell was that? That is what I first thought when I was playing. There I was, merrily getting used to the controls, up, down, left, right, having figured out the start button, and an object the size of the damn, like a quarter of the screen, shot along the bottom and killed me. I've played a lot of these old games before, I've played a lot of these ancient games before, and I absolutely never expected this. So here I am, whipping along the bottom just to see where it goes, and I figured it must come back on itself, which it does now, so I'm going to drop down and go to the right. The information that Farhan gave me said, it's a crazy game. He mentioned it was crazy fast, and I thought, yeah, I'll have some difficulty with this, but it will be absolutely fine. It's an old game. How hard can this be? And, I've lost 2 lives in the space of a couple of moments here, trying to shoot this little blue guy here at the moment and wait for this large block to pass. This game is a really, really interesting one. This was one of the few ones that I did read the instructions before. I wanted to figure out what I'm expected to do so I could actually go in and give it a really good fighting chance, as this was a request. And it's clear that I had to pick up a piece of computer, take it back to the CPU at the beginning. It did not mention the size of these enemies. It did not mention the nice scrolling environment that you've got, where you've got enemies the size of a quarter of the bloody screen, or the gameplay size of the screen, that just wipe you out at every given opportunity. This I really was not expecting. I didn't even know the games this old could manipulate and have enemy objects as large as this, as hard as this. And when I first fired this up, and after the initial shock of that horrible enemy that killed me, when I'm at sort of this stage, but I've already fought it already, but this reinforced, this particular screen that I'm on, reinforced me a little bit more in my thoughts. I thought that this is the best computer game of Tron that was never made. And I've already noted to the right there seems to be more of those large objects, and there it is. So this is one that I've got to get by here. But yeah, in my mind I thought this could be a Tron game. This absolutely could be, and I'm dead unfortunately. This could be a Tron game. The lovely pixels that it has, the lovely gameplay that it has. But lovely is in terms of frustrating, for want of a better word, as well. I'm slowing down to try and get by that. I do not even know what to call it. We'll call it a moving wall. I'm trying to get by that moving wall, but the problem is when you move left and right and you have the thrust, you have inertia that carries you, so you do not stop dead. You carry on moving, and this is what makes, and it was like, dear God almighty, what is that? 1 was hard enough to get by. 2 of them, it is just hell on earth, but somehow I've made it, and then I've got these little Tron items at the top waiting to get me. Fortunately, I can whack myself into the walls and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't kill me, so that is a bit of a blessing that we've got here. So I've picked up a chip, and what happens is you hear this little beeping, and look on the bottom left hand side of the score panel, and dead. On the bottom left hand side of the score panel where you've got the number 26, that starts to count down when you pick up the chip, so it's reset back to 32. I'm on my last life because the lives are on the row above 32 on the left hand side, and I'm going to try and make my way to get that little chip to take it all the way back to the beginning. The animation I'm seeing in this game for Captain Beeble not blew me away, but it really surprised me. The smoothness, and obviously more dead and more pixels everywhere there, like Defender when you go pop and you die. The smoothness of the animation of the large monsters, the large enemies that you're trying to bypass, it was absolutely great. I didn't think a system could do this, but when you're getting two of them moving at once, it's like, good lord, what is going to await you going forward? And this surprised me a little bit. I don't know whether my memory is going, but I don't remember those enemies being in that position here right now. And I forgot about the bloody block as I was fighting that little Tron type guy, but I don't remember those enemies being in that position. So I'm now thinking, we've got enemies, we've got these little giant walls, apart from the little things I can't even kill. We've got these giant walls that will move you and they will take you out at every single opportunity. We've got little blue enemies that appear, and I've remembered that we have a block now. I do know there's a block at the bottom. It's going to come sometime now, hopefully any time now. But we've got these little blue enemies that I really do think move around in terms of their start location randomly. But I'm going to bypass those and I'm going to chase after that block, because I know there was at least 2 to 3 caverns that it went under from the first playthrough. Wait for it to drop down, and then we're going to hurry to the right again. So ignore him, and we'll go here and we will get to the chip. So try and pick it up carefully. I'm trying not to use all my fuel as well, because any thrust uses fuel and slowly wipes it out. But we can keep up with the block, and then we can just jump up here. And to see a scrolling game like this, this isn't Defender or anything else like this, but to see a scrolling game like this, it was a real absolute pleasure. Back in days of these type of systems, if you had exploration adventure type games like this, you would have had flip screens, and it's clear this isn't a flip screen, but it's a bit challenging. So on the bottom, which I'm flying above, is where I've got to take the CPU. We never completed this level here. And look at this. There seems to be way more blue enemies now on that screen than there was before. So either 1 is random, their positioning, or 2 is random in their positioning. And this makes it even worse, the amount of enemies that you have to fight, to combat. I'm struggling with the controls a little bit. And I'll be honest, I will be honest. I'll be honest here. When I set them up on the MiSTer FPGA, I'm playing with a control system that I'm not really used to. I usually use the analog controls, which work perfectly, but for this particular game, I'm using the directional controls, because I did fire it up originally just to test to see whether it was working, because you have to do that if you're going to record a video. You don't want it dead. And I noticed 2 things. 1, the analog control wasn't optimal for this. This was hard enough as it was, and just moving about on the screen, up, down, left, right, it just did not feel right at all. So I effectively got the 4-way cross control method to actually be using. And secondly, this is the only game that I've ever seen that if you leave long enough, or the only game that I recalled that if you leave long enough on the opening screen, the screen that starts off, it plays itself. And you'd think, well, what's different about this? But watch it. When it plays itself, it actually will score points. And I was setting this up, and I had just set this up to get it working, and it fired into gameplay mode, and it actually ended up with obviously a very low high score, but nevertheless a high score of itself it achieved on its own in demo mode. What I like about this as well is I've not played many of the Atari games of this era in terms of the newer ones like you have here. I was really surprised, and I enjoyed playing Hero quite a while ago. There's a lot of nice games on this system, but not all of them save the high score. I think when I did River Raid, I don't recall the high score being saved, and this one does do the high score, because we can see that we're now beating it, so we've got 4,200, so all is going well. This is nice to see some variety on the level as well. The level has opened up, and I don't think they're meant to be clouds above me, but at least it's a little bit more peaceful that I can zip around here, find some enemies, go down this passageway, and that was, oh, you've got to be joking. So those blue clouds are actually blue rocks, or I guess blue internals of a computer, because this is all computer based. But those blue rocks, those digital areas, are bloody death. And it was like, oh no. So I've got to very carefully navigate this, and I thought I was going to do this because I had changed the controls before I kicked off any of this recording, but no, game over, absolutely dead here. So I need to kick this off again. I want to try and get through this level. We're not going to do any of the fast forward shenanigans or anything else like this, but what I want you to see is my gameplay involved. You know, I've been playing this game a little bit now. You've seen the recording of me playing it. I have an idea of what to expect as I die, which is just complete bollocks there. But I was going to say, I have an idea of what to expect. So, you know, I'm going to work my way through this very neatly. What is unfair on here as well in this game, the enemies. So that enemy killed me. And in some games, when you get killed by enemies, the enemy will die. But no, not on here. There isn't enough challenges, so what they do is they leave the enemy as well. And it feels like a bit like Indiana Jones here, as I'm being chased by that moving wall. Not a boulder, but similar kind of idea. So we're going to shoot all the way back and nip up into a cavern to wait for the wall, the boulder, whatever you want to call it, to pass us. We're going to drop down, and then we're going to go all the way to the left, and hopefully very easily complete this level. With the skills that I've learned, the skills that I've evolved over the gameplay of doing this, I'm hoping that the next level will be fairly easy. I'm hoping that I can do this level as I fly into something and die straight away. So, you know, another life lost here, fatal collision. And if I can get through all of this, hopefully without too much damage here, then, you know, it will be easy on to the next level. And what I've noticed is I said early on that the lives are above the fuel. No, they're not. What seems to be above, and the thing that was counting down here, is the amount of enemies. Look at that. There's a little 2 there, and that is an enemy-shaped object, not a life that's there. So this must mean there is 2 more of those enemies on this layout for me to wipe out. And yes, there they are. Good. So it's good to know that. We won't be worrying too much about those. And the lives clearly are going to be on the bottom. So we have 3, and I've just died. Fatal collision. And that should be saying 2 when I appear. Yep, 2. Good. Right. So enemies on the top, fuel at the bottom, lives disappearing very quickly on the last row. I had wanted to do better than this. And you know what? This video is now going to be a little longer than what I originally planned, because I do want to get back to that last level with a nice bunch of lives to try again. You know, I flew into the wall there. You know, I've clearly lost complete focus of what I'm meant to be doing here. Lives disappearing like they're falling off a waterfall, and it's game over. So we're going to play one final session of this. And Farham Yusuf, I do hope that I've got your name right. Thank you. It is really nice to see another game on the Atari that I've not seen before that is actually really fun to play. This is brutally hard, and I use that phrase too many times, which shows obviously how bad my gameplay is, and by too many times across a lot of videos. But this really is brutally hard. You know, that pretty looking level 3, where the blue walls will wipe you out almost instantly. You know, that is hard. You know, that they could have had that narrow canal of that small passage that you want to navigate down on a later level, but not, you know, on level 3. Maybe back in the day this was easy for young people to do, and even adults to do, but nope, not me. But we have got through this level, and we should have a nice fuel bonus. And you know, look at our score now, 2,200. 7 of the blue guys left, 6 of them left. So yep, it is absolutely those that die when we fight, and we can't count down. And we're looking at the lives at the bottom, not at the top as I originally was doing. So need to time my firing here a little bit. And what's in my mind is I want to clear these blue guys as much as possible, so the journey back I have nothing to worry about. Your fuel is continually counting down, so you've got score 2,800, fuel that is dropping, high score of 4,400, and look at the fuel always dropping as I fly into the bloody moving wall here. But that's okay. I think we've only lost 1 life, and we're on level 2, so you know, we do have another chance to go through and do this, to take a lot of lives forward onto the 3rd level, so I can make it all the way through that canal. So slowing down for the 2 walls, gonna wait. I did originally think that this was a timing thing that you could do. If anybody has played Jet Set Willy, you have you start off in the bathroom. This is the original one. You then go left, and you're in the top of the laptop hall top or something like that. You then go downwards, and you're in the first landing. You go down again, and you're in the kitchen. And then you've got two rooms to the left of the kitchen, basically kitchen east and kitchen west if I recall. And those look absolutely awful. You know, think of these walls, that nearly got me there. Think of these walls as they're coming down. You know, they're in effectively a random sequence. Well, Jet Set Willy, they're in a normal sequence that you can actually predict. So with that, you can walk all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and do nothing. Don't jump, just straight across and you make it. And in my mind I'm thinking, aha, there's a sequence with these, I should be able to easily do this. But no, this is a great game and I've got every chance to get past that bloody narrow passage. I've got 4 lives left, I think, including the life that I have at the moment. I've only got 5 enemies left on screen. Let's make it 4 by clearing that one. 4 enemies left on screen, and all I have to do is navigate down this little passage. So, you know, just a little tappity tap on the control panel, you know, not playing too hard on this, gently, and I hit a wall. So 3 lives left. Now I've got a fatal collision. I do have the highest score. We're gonna go for it again. So no enemies to worry about too much. So why the hell am I shooting like a fool? I don't know, because I know I've cleared them down here and caught on the same part again. Fatal collision. 2 lives left. This game, I had an idea that it was going to be hard, and not an idea that it was going to be this hard. If I could change one thing about the game, it's not the difficulty. So there's a surprise for you. I would have actually called this Tron. I would have made it a Tron type game, and the idea is, although I've flown into the wall there, the idea is you're basically going through a computer system, which you seem to be anyway, but this really fits the Tron badge in my eyes, especially because some of those blue enemies do look like those inverted U's that you had flying around. Those were the red guys that he shot with the tanks in the first film. Anyway, I'm going to carefully wind my way through here. Look at this, not worry about the enemies. And I got a little bit further, but I clipped the wall and another fatal collision. So that takes us to game over. Farhan, thank you for the opportunity to play this. I'm the Gentleman, this is the Gentleman's Pixel Club, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Would you like to play again?
Hello there, just a quick word from me. If you're a subscriber to this channel, thank you very much. Honestly, it means the world to me and the world to Harun that I'm holding. Harun would like all of you to be subscribers to this channel. And if you are this far through the video and you haven't subscribed, but you feel that I have earned your subscription through the content that you've seen so far, please consider subscribing. It makes me happy, it makes Harun happy. And when Harun's happy, everybody's happy. Thank you very much. Stay safe and take care. Goodbye.